Oh dear, I don't even know where to start with this thing. It's a solar-powered chanting flower that is designed to help you in meditation and prayers. And it's sold on eBay quite widely. They do lots of these. This is one of the upmarket luxury versions. It's described as Buddhist praise scripture music machine with 48 kind Buddha music song new outdoor. And the idea is that you have some controls in this. You have various buttons for controlling, including the on button, forward, backwards, and pause. You've got a USB charging port. You've got the solar panel on top in case you want to do any chanting in the garden. And this is what it sounds like. And you think, well, that's quite nice, actually. And then you go to the next one. And you think, not so nice. Uh-huh. And you think, okay, and then when you turn it off,
20.
It says burn in hell. No, it doesn't. I'm not sure what it says when you turn it off, but it gives you a little goodbye message. And what they've done here is that they've got various sort of, I don't even know, I'm not sure what happens in religion. It's all very complex. I don't follow that sort of thing. But the idea is that you've got this in the garden and you play it, or you get a little headphone version, and it helps you meditate by listening to people shouting. Well, hold on, here's another one. And you think, that's a nice one. And I can't help but feel that they've basically said you get your 48 chants. Some of them are fairly tight loops of music, and it's quite nice music. Other ones are little tiny chants are basically saying, pray to the Lord, pray to the Lord, pray to the Lord, in a really tight loop just to save memory space, if I was being cynical. But anyway, this one is the pink one. Let me just remind myself, how much was this? This was $16, inclusive of shipping. It was available in pink. Of course, I went and got the pink one. Obviously, you want it in pink. What are these? Oh, these are plastic gourds that also do it. Oh, these all do that music thing. Oh, that's a bit creepy. But anyway, screwdriver. It is time to open the prayer machine and see what's inside. It does seem quite good quality. It comes with the sort of usual stacked together pillars that emulate a stem in the garden. I wonder how waterproof it is. It's quite a nice solar panel. I think the front of it is actually glass. It kind of rings. You can't really get your finger onto the edge, but it's a very precisely cut circle. I think that is a good quality solar panel. It doesn't light up. I don't think it lights up. I have tried in a dark room, it didn't light up. Maybe there's some secret chant that makes it light up. Ooh. Is that going to let it open? Very small circuit board, big speaker, relatively speaking. Fat 18650. Let's unplug the solar panel. The silicone goo appears to be all around here, so it looks as though they've made a fairly decent effort of sealing this. What have we got? We've got a little circuit board in here with the button.
关机.
The 18650 cell is just stuck down. We've got an 8-pin chip. We've got a multi-pin chip. Right, tell you what, I'm going to take a look at this. I'm going to whip this circuit board out. Let's just whip this out right now. Is this kind of marked as to what's what? Well, tell you what, I actually, you know what, all I need to do is look at the video and see where they came off. So the battery was the middle terminal. The speaker was the one closest to the on-off button. Oh, the whole housing's decided to come off there. And the solar panel was in the one closest to the charging port. I shall just whip that off. We'll take a look right now, and then we'll do what we normally do and take a closer look. Let's see if we can actually find all the screws this time instead of just taking one or two screws out and then bursting the circuit board. There is another connector position in there. I wonder what that's for. Just a few buttons and connector on the other side. And possibly an LED and resistor for the charging status. Right. One moment, please. Reverse engineering done. We are back. And we have not an awful lot. We have a dedicated chip. I don't think this is a microcontroller. I don't think it's a, well, it might be a microcontroller with built-in MP3 player. It's called an IT80ZXD. And I have to say, I didn't find anything about it. It's also got Maref 900. And I'm getting terrible deja vu about somebody called Maref who designed some MP3 or microcontroller. I'm just getting strange deja vu that I cannot explain there about the name Maref. But anyway, it has two decoupling capacitors, and the reason for that is I think it takes in a standard supply from the lithium cell. It may have an inbuilt regulator. Everything is integrated into this. It's all in one chip. It also has some test pins here, including A12, A15, A14. These strike me as being address pins, which is strange. I'm not sure why they're called that. But either way, it seems to be a test system for the circuit board. It has a Booyah Micro 25D16ASTIG. The important bit here is 25D16. It's a 16 megabit serial memory, and that equates to 2 megabytes of memory. So if this is using MP3, and to be honest, it's the only way it could actually squeeze in all those sort of little clips of music, then it equates at a full quality MP3 of about 2 minutes. But in this case, they've either, well, some of those tracks, some of those loops are almost 30 seconds long. I would say they've crushed the quality, they lowered the quality a bit, and they've squished it and basically compressed, maybe 5 minutes? Not really sure. I haven't timed them all, mainly because they're absolutely terrible to listen to. The charge circuitry. I tried translating the Chinese with the camera. This one came up Nest for some reason. I think it was struggling with the graininess because I've really zoomed up on this. It couldn't pick out. I tried pointing at the circuit board. I tried pointing at this picture. This picture is very sharply focused. It's very grainy. It was struggling with that. It managed to get solar for this one, but it managed to get electricity is great for this one, which I have to agree, but that is the lithium battery. The charging options. The lithium battery is connected here, solar panel is connected here. The solar panel couples to the lithium battery directly through this diode to prevent reverse leakage. The USB port is here. It has the negative connected to common ground. It's got the positive connected to this 2.2 ohm resistor and then to the same diode. And the reason for that is just to limit the current. I've got a little bit of fluff floating about here. So effectively, when you actually plug into USB, it's back feeding onto lithium cell. It doesn't really matter that much. The only other bit in this area, bits worthy of note, are this 1K resistor, which goes to the LED on the other side. Let me show you that. It's this LED, which also incidentally has a resistor in parallel with it, just to provide a sort of decisive cutoff point, so it only lights when it is taking a proper charge. That LED will light both when the solar panel is being illuminated, which is pointless because you won't be able to see it, and also when you've got it indoors and you plug it into USB charger, the red LED will light to show it's charging. There's a PNP transistor here. This is a very weird bit of circuitry with a collector with a 1K resistor going to the battery positive, not the battery positive, but the charge positive. Very strange. And then a voltage divider to presumably, well, it does. It signals across from the collector over to this pin here, and it tells this chip when it's charging. I'm not sure why it needs to know when it's charging, but it does have features that I don't know about because the instructions are entirely in Chinese, and I don't really know exactly what they mean. I could have translated instructions. That would have been common sense. I didn't. There's a surprise. But basically speaking, this is a signal back to this dedicated chip to show it to actually tell it when it's charging. Did I mention the two capacitors? I think this one is on the battery side. This one is on what I believe to be a built-in voltage regulator. It says 3.3 volts. I measured 2.8, but then the battery isn't fully charged. The battery itself has protection. It has to have protection. Well, I say it's got protection. I presume this little blob here is protection. One moment, please. I shall just get a pair of snips and hack into this. Let's just rip this sleeve off, trying not to short circuit the battery in the process, in case it goes thermonuclear. It's a purple battery underneath. Oh, it's not coming off easily. It is now, yes, there is a protection circuit, most likely based on a DW01. It says capacity is 1,500 milliamp power. This battery itself has nothing. It has the two little chips. It has the little 6-pin DW01 type thing and the double MOSFET. Let me just double check that. Don't take my word for it. Let's. Since I've just ripped this off, it's a bit tight because it is pushed right in towards the battery. Can I read that? Well, that's definitely MOSFET. DW01A. It is a DW01 and dual MOSFET battery protection system. And the reason for that is because there's no actual charge regulation on the unit. It relies purely on the fact that the solar panel, the rather nice solar panel, has a limited current output. I would say probably about 200 milliamps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Maximum output 5 volts, but of course it won't actually put that out because it's going straight through the diode. Oh, it will, because once this battery is full, when it reaches about 4.2 volts, the DW01 will go open circuit. It won't let any charge go in anymore. It will control the MOSFET that controls charging, and it will shut that off, and then you'll get the open circuit voltage of the solar panel suddenly with no charge going to the lithium cell. Likewise, the USB charging going in via this resistor, that's purely to limit the current to a sensible level. What's the maximum worst case current now? The 18650 cell will be cut off by the DW01, worst case 2.5 volts, 5 volts and 2.5 volts divided by 2.2 ohms equals a maximum charge current of 1.13 amps, very rapidly dropping off as it charges. The reason for the sense circuit, I'm guessing there is some sort of maybe solar power function, because if I turn this on, okay, to a chant, and then I press the pause button, and then you hold the pause button.
全部循环
I don't know what that means. I'll press it again.
单曲循环
And it's switching between two modes, but it also seems to potentially have the facility to reboot it, because I have managed, while messing about with it, to crash it. So I don't know what those modes are. That reminds me of the Dr. Alban song, It's My Life.
关机
The loops are terrible. It's not like they've not done a Disney parade music where the loop is seamless, and no matter how long the parade takes, the music will loop round in that seamless loop. Even if it's a really short 3-minute loop, it's just seamless when it actually stops and starts. With these ones, the little samples they've got in here are just, basically speaking, you hear a loud glitch when it gets round to the start. There's no subtlety. They've kind of basically stolen music and just looped it with a sudden abrupt jump when it loops. And part of that is probably in their process of trying to save as much memory as possible in this. I would guess that the messages, like when you turn it on and then off, it says something,
关机
Guanxi, or something like that. And that will also be stored as an MP3 in there. It's just a dedicated MP3 file that it addresses from this. Very, very strange. It is mass produced. It is a dedicated unit. This chip is specific to the task of these units, I would guess. Possibly a microcontroller with MP3 and the internal voltage regulator that they've just put custom extra software in, or possibly just a dedicated chip. I can't find any information on this at all. You're welcome to have a look for that and see what you can find. And that's it. A control chip, a little flash chip. It does make me wonder. I wonder what the format in that is. Not sure how you'd go about reading that. I mean, I could read the data in, but it would be interesting putting it in. I wonder if it's reading it in the style of a flashcard, or if it's just purely raw data stored in here in this sort of MP3 format. But an interesting circuit. It's very well made. Let's just zoom back out. It's very well made. The quality is good. The proper seems like glass. Let's just scratch it and see. Oh, that is glass. The glass solar panel, a generous size, a decent 1.5 amp hour, if they're to be believed, 18650. Decent construction, a large speaker, not just one of those tiny speakers. It seems quite serious for its intended purpose, which is religious, for chanting and meditating and stuff like that. I really don't think I could meditate to that. Could you? Could you meditate to that? Not really. I'm not sure what you're supposed to do to that. That's just unpleasant. Yeah, see, let's just give that a miss. Let's go for loud dance music instead. But there we go. The Buddha... Oh, I can't remember what it's called. The Buddhist praise scripture music machine with Buddha music. But there we go. It's interesting. It's certainly hackable. I wonder how hackable it is music-wise for replacing the MP3s. But having said that, it might be a proprietary format and it might also be super low quality anyway. So you're not going to get much storage unless you could find a way. Oh, talking of which, talking of find a way to increase the capacity, it looks as though they've hedged their bets here. Possibly a different microcontroller, possibly different memory. This looks like it's a different memory chip that they've allowed for. So it's possible that, you know, there are higher spec or lower spec units that just they've basically said, whatever chip's cheapest, that's the one we'll use in it. Or if we need extra high capacity, that's what we'll use in it. But it's a very interesting design. It's very versatile. The only bit that's got me slightly puzzled is the way they've implemented the battery charge indicator. I would have thought maybe they'd just use a really high value resistor to that input, but they've used this, and it's not like it's actually a proper level shifter. It doesn't seem to be operating its 3.3 volt rail. It's very strange. But there we go. The Buddha music machine.